How's it going, everybody? I've realized that when I listen to podcasts, I really just hate the intros. Like, they just take a lot of the shit out of it. So, I don't know. I do just prefer the ones that go straight into the conversation. So, that's what I'm going to do. Before I had done my little intro thing, and that was fine. But there's 30, 40 of you that listen consistently, no matter when I put out an episode or, how spread out they are. So to that group of you, what's up? You are appreciated. And we're back with another one. I was doing good there for a minute. I posted a couple in a row, and then life just continued to happen. And I think, as it is, I'm not making these with an urge or I'm not making any money off of these. These are just when I got something to say, I just hop on here and say it. So I think that's how I'm just going to do it. And if you decide to tune in when I do say something, then hey, that's appreciated. If not, if you lose me in the algorithm of shit that's constantly being thrown at you, that's understandable. There's creators that I love that I want to watch their stuff all the time, and unless you go out and specifically search them up, they just get lost in a sea of other shit. I don't know if I'm completely going off the topic of what I want to talk about, but has anybody else noticed how fast the algorithm will change? I only use YouTube, so I've noticed if I watch, say, 4 history videos in a row, then the next day my, feed or whatever you want to call the screen where it shows you all the videos you can watch, it's history videos. If I'm doing comedy shit, it's comedy, it just reacts so fast, and it's oh, that's what you want now? Here you go. And it I don't know, it takes away some of the finding stuff. And I don't know, the more I'm trying to disconnect from basically all social media, just it's kind of at the point to where even YouTube is too much. And I know for me, I might be just better off with a flip phone. At the point when smartphones became a thing, I think it's just, I should have tapped out then and been no thank you, because the constant everything in your hand all the time, it's a lot. And I noticed the other day, I told my buddy about it. I was I just went on the news section of YouTube and scrolled 5 videos, and they were all the most depressing thing that I've ever fucking read in a title. And I was just I had a fucking panic attack just sitting there thinking about the shit. And it was just oh fuck, everything's fucking crazy, sitting there in my head panicking. And then I realized wait, I'm laying in my bed right now, just chilling beside my fucking baby who's passed out. Why am I having a panic attack right now? I'm just chilling. And I was oh, it's because I'm looking at this fucking screen that's telling me that a bunch of people died so far away from me that I can't even really fathom the distance in my brain any any other way than numbers that we've made up, units of time or fucking measurements of distance. But even I don't know, if you say a mile to me, I can't look out a mile and be yep, that over there is 1 mile. And maybe that's just me. Maybe somebody can do that, but fucking couldn't be me. All right, what did I even want to talk about today? Okay, I did a little bit of digging, with me being as interested in history as I am, I kind of came to the realization that, like, oh, I never really cared to look into my history, like my family, my ancestry. And I've done, a little bit, like light research. And that was mostly like as far back as you can possibly take it was where I was trying to go. Like my family's name, it has like different meanings. Like one of it is a white fjord, and like fjord spelled like Fjord, I think is how you spell it. But yeah, so it was just describing where that family had settled, that area. And apparently there's still some area in, I don't know, I think it said England or something, that's connected to my name. Going off on a tangent. What I did find out was that the first of my family line slash like name, like how great the DNA connection is probably small just because the amount of time. But the first person who was my great however many relative was in 1638. He came to Boston when it wasn't even Boston yet. Like one of the early colonizers of the American area by Europeans at the time. You know what I mean? I was trying to skate my way around that like fucking I was at a roller derby or some shit. Like trying to have that come out in the best way possible. Like, but I shouldn't even have to worry because what I found out was this dude was 27 when he came over. So as old as I am now. And he was a servant to another guy. And I didn't do much digging on what that guy did. But I was just like, damn. Even my fucking, like, my family got over here because, they was following some rich people. And it's just like, damn, I was really hoping, like, they came over with the ones that, like, had some money. But it's fine. Like, we got over here and we're here now. And, I like America. Like, it's where, obviously, I live, where I've always lived. And I've never been out of the country, so I don't know anything else other than America. I know that right now, America is in a really weird place. And that's just where my mind has been at lately. Like, just where we are in general, I tried to be unbiased at the time of voting before I was trying to make fun of both parties because I tried to make it pretty clear that I think they're both shitty candidates, and we got one of the shitty candidates that we had out of the two. And I don't know, you hear like all these conspiracy theories that end up to be like, if you settle somewhere between what the government tells you and the craziest conspiracy theory, like somewhere in the middle there is the truth. The JFK shit, like it was, the government said, oh, it was a sniper up in a building. And the conspiracy theory was like, oh no, it was a planned attack from one of the 3-letter agencies. And then what the government, like what the files said actually happened, whether you believe this or not, is that it was an accidental discharge by one of the FBI people, like the Secret Service or whatever. So, you got to take that with a grain of salt too. But it's just kind of like, I don't know. I work just a regular job, and the American dream used to be, like, hey, dad goes out and he works a 9 to 5, and then he gets off and he goes to the house that he owns and plays with his kids and kisses his wife and has plenty of food and like things to provide and live a good life. And now it seems like the American dream has become like you're going to work and grind every second that you possibly can, and your family, yourself, everything else comes after the grind. Like, I don't know, the job I have, like, I'm not necessarily like working myself to death. But it just seems like the culture in general of America has shifted away from family focused to like, I don't even know. I mean, just this clickbait culture of whatever is the most like outrageous. And I can't say that like I'm definitely not fucking perfect, I've made shit that is intentionally trying to get people to fucking click it. Like I have a video called like white guy doesn't do blackface. I mean, what the fuck I know somebody's gonna look at that and be like, what the fuck does this guy think he's making? And then they watch it and they're like, oh, it was just something stupid. Okay. But I don't know, it's just seems like everything is so divided and you're either pushed to this way or this way so hard, and it's like the middle doesn't really have a voice, because anytime there is a middle, they get shoved into one camp or the other. And when you shove somebody somewhere, what do? They fucking move that way. Like, that's just, physics, unless you're a pussy and can't push somebody. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I'm just trying to chill, I've been thinking way too much lately about everything, like stressing about fucking World War III happening and the fact that fucking money has basically no value, and the government can basically just say, oh yes, all that money that you think are in these banks, like, it's not really there. Sorry. That magical money that you have in there that's supposed to be assigned to like an actual, dollar value. But then if the bank just goes and runs out of money, it's not like, oh yes, your actual dollar bill is in here. No, it's like, actually that money never existed. So really, you have nothing. But that mortgage and all of that debt you have, yeah, we're going to need you to pay that too. Like, that money still exists and we need it now. Man, I got to take a water drink, Jesus, water break. Sometimes words just pop out of my mouth before I know what the fuck I'm saying. You know what I mean? It has been ridiculously hot. Like, I'm starting to think that Al Gore was right. There was a man-bear pig. And he told us, like, hey, there's a man-bear pig. It's gonna fucking kill us all. And it was just like, South Park, like, he's crazy. But now it's constantly like this like wet heat that it always is in Tennessee, but it's more of like a instead of a hot 90, you know, it's a hot like 110. And when you're that hot and it's wet, like you might as well bring some fucking soap, buddy, because you're gonna be in a bath. Let me tell you. Yeah, but just learning that about my history, and then I had obviously, family who fought in both world wars. I had one that was a pilot. I had a family member fight in the Union and the Civil War. Like, it's kind of crazy just thinking that my bloodline has been around for that long, because it's not, my family specifically doesn't have that great of a connection with our whole family. So it's kind of just like, hey, y'all are out there, but you don't mean anything. I heard, like, it's just a weird thought that people that you don't see don't exist until you see them again, you know? What are we talking about, bud? I don't know. Do you guys like this? Like, what's up? Leave a comment down below and tell me what your favorite comic book is, because that is what I've been very into lately. And if you are also into comic books, like, you probably already know these channels, but there's some that I've been listening to, like Comics Explained and Mullet Man Comics. I say that with a question mark because I know it's Mullet Man, but I don't know if it's comics at the end. But yeah, if I can remember, I'll leave a link in the description, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it's just a good way that if you don't want to go out or look online to find every single comic book that you want to read, then you can still get the information in a good way. They do a good job of breaking the story down and giving it to you. A couple that I've went out and bought are The Death of the Family, which is a pretty fucking intense one. If you don't know what it is, the Joker just goes on some Joker shit and tries to fuck with Batman. Long story short, Superman Doomsday. Like, I never realized how badass Doomsday actually is, because you think of Superman characters and it's like, it's Superman, like, he's always just gonna kick their ass. There's been a million fucking Green Lanterns, and like, Batman's been replaced, but there's Clark Kent, like, but Doomsday, yeah, beats the fuck out of him. It's a lot easier to find Batman comics, like, they're fucking everywhere. So I have a good amount of those. I have a couple Wolverine and a couple Flash, and it's just something that's, like, I've always been interested in, but I've never went out of my way to, like, own comic books, and I just realized I enjoyed it. So yeah, I've just been binging. If you don't know, they have an endless amount of DC animated movies on YouTube for free. So, if you're bored of listening to this, you can go watch one of those, I guess. But yeah, and it's kind of been tickling my creative nerve in a way that's like, I've always wanted to make my own comic, but I have a hard time, like, drawing a circle. So I'm just kind of like at a point where I'm wondering how many stories I can tell at the same time, just myself. because this isn't really a spoiler, but I am writing another book. It's not in any way connected to the first book that I wrote. I am planning to do something with that in the future on this channel. So if it's something that you didn't even know I did, then yeah, you'll see that coming soon. So be on the lookout. What do real YouTubers say? Turn on your notifications. Yeah, but the story I'm writing now isn't necessarily a comic book. And I think that with every story, not the first thing that you have to do, but one of the first things that you have to do is build the entire world. Like, you can't have people out just living in a world that's unestablished, you know? You can just set the parameters of like, oh, this is the world that we know. Or like if it's Lord of the Rings, you say, hey, this is fucking magical Lord of the Rings world, or fucking Star Wars future. Like, you know what I mean. It makes sense. I'm doing a good job of explaining it, and thank you. But yeah, so I think that's kind of where I'm at, is just establishing the world, and then I can flesh out the people in it a little bit more, because I don't want to do something super serious and gritty. I'm looking more for like lighthearted, but I don't know. You guys have seen the shit that I make. If you don't, go back and watch some of the videos that I've made that are skits and whatnot. You're 22 minutes into this at this point. Like, just go back and watch something that I've made if you haven't. And yeah, you'll see what kind of stuff I make. It'll be basically just like everything else I make. There's some serious tones there, but it's also going to be a silly fucking time, because that's what we're here for. We're here to just fucking feel bad shit, laugh at it, and keep going. That's really dark and not at all true, but sometimes it's best to say the worst thing possible. One thing that I've been thinking about doing specifically with the channel involving my writing is just having you guys, the people that come in and watch the channel, whether it's just a podcast where you don't even see me, or it's a skit, or what the fuck ever it is. Get involved and me start doing lives where we're building the world and writing the story together. So if that's something you would want to watch / be involved in, leave a comment down below. I've seen these, live streamers that do the polls constantly, and I'm like, well, that's kind of how I could do it. We could just poll out different, scenarios, what a character would do next, like who the character even is, like, because an important part is in character design is you have to remember who the character is that you're writing. Like, if you're writing fucking Snape from Harry Potter, you have to remember that this is kind of like an emo boy who's dark and brooding and kind of like serious as fuck. So his actions within the story have to align with that. Because if you randomly do some shit where Cerberus, am I saying that right? If he's fucking sitting there like dabbing or something that doesn't necessarily align with his character traits. Now I'm just telling you how to write a book so you can go fucking do it. I don't know. I think about 25 minutes is good enough. I've told you to comment multiple different times about multiple different things at this point, so just do it. It helps the algorithm, even if you're just saying hi. I mean, it like whatever. One last drink. Peace out.